Zambia Blog Talk Radio.
Do you want to promote your business on Zambia Blog Talk Radio? Yes, that's right. Live on Zambia Blog Talk Radio. To book your spot, just make a donation by picking from the following categories. To get started, just call or WhatsApp the number on the screen and you'll be good to go. Live on Zambia Blog Talk Radio every Saturday for 1 full month. And it will stay on the recorded shows.
Fighting Equality Alliance. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Bibidi beef flow. Mwenye Zulu bande swan. Bila pa 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 bila do. Zambiani ole mela. Na white botika ziko yole mela. Rich country. Zambia ni olemela nanga waite butika ziko yolemela. Rich country, poor people. Kopa ya bandisifiko panimwe. Kopa ya shenda lama za kopa. When in the hospital we got no medicine. The children can't get an education. Me want know, let's have a conversation. Kopanga yapa, what will we have to show? Let this mineral benefit us all.
Komadala, ubuno shikanoni pa mapepala. Gawaloleke shaife for twikala. Ishalobuno shifulu kopa. But abantu no access to water. Kopa full undangeni benefiti. Ifipatala batita mulimiti. Batwe bati kopa ya bonse. Bati ngatwa imbaba senda bakunse. Ngawalolesha northwesteni. Ubunonshi ashita konteni. Bati nsala no bulo fani fulu. Imisebo kano fyo mupita kopa.
Zambia ni olemela. Na white botika ziko yolemela. Rich country, poor people.
Kopa ya bandisifiko panimwe. Kopa ya
Zambia ni olemela. Nanga waite butika ziko yolemela. Rich country, poor people.
Kopa ya bandisifiko panimwe. Kopa ya bandisifiko.
My geography teacher told me that Zambia is the second largest copper producer in Africa. She also told me that Zambia is one of the poorest countries in the world. Seo jisongila kuwaya, pantuku konsha alina manta, komayai olalanjala asogoleli owaya waya.
The song says, Ubuno nshi ni shinipama paper, which means it's just on paper. Welcome to Zambia Blog Talk Radio. Special feature today, Saturday, November 12th, 2022. We do welcome you to the show, depending on where you are joining us from. This is a special show. I would encourage you to share the link with your friends as we begin this discussion. Global Multi-Purpose Cooperative Society is the thing now in the community, in the diaspora community. You need to listen to this conversation. Let me bring in my guests. We have a lot to talk about today. I think ladies first. Mrs. Victoria Mwanza joining us from Maryland, and she's part of the financial team. Mrs. Mwanza, welcome. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Nathan.
We have a lot to talk about, and the big dog of ZBT are a long time, my friend.
Long time indeed. Long time indeed. We're
He's
working. We're working.
Nevertheless, yeah. Kasulova will be joining us. He seems to be having a few little challenges with his, what do you call it, his Wi-Fi issues. Apparently, the weather in Lusaka has been very wet today. Global Multi-Purpose Cooperative Society. That's something a lot of people have been talking about. Oh, by the way, you have a magnificent team, Mrs. Mwanza Roger. When I told myself I was going to tell you this in a few seconds. You know, last week we were at one of Zambia's historical biggest independence celebrations in Dallas. People, close to 400 people showed up from all parts of the country, and we had like 2-3 people show up from Europe. They were your team was giving out the flyer for the Zambia, the Global Cup. I was like, good job. This is good. This is good. So I just thought I should tell you that. Mr. K, good afternoon to you. Kasulova. Okay, he can't hear me. He will join us. Let's begin the discussion. We have a lot of ground to cover. We have a lot of clips, video clips. We have a lot of things to show. The idea here is everybody who is watching, share the link for this show, because you need to hear the information that will be shared today. It's very important. Okay, let's move away from this thing of just on paper, like they say in English. Roger, what is the story of the Global Multi-Purpose Cooperative Society?
Exactly, Nathan, what you have said. And thank you so much for having us this morning. So the story is exactly what you have just said, Nathan. Where it is just on paper. It is both emotional, I think, if you really think about it. It is painful. It is a painful story. To me, it is also a spiritual story when you look at the copper issue.
Yes.
It is painful when you see a mother, like we saw in that clip, breaking stones for her to be able to afford Kapamela next day in a rich country like our country. It is painful, Nathan, in a country like ours, where kids cannot have a standard book to read, and yet we are in a rich country. The song is talking about hospitals without medicine in a country like Zambia. That is very, 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 very painful if you really think about it. I say to myself sometimes when I preach, Nathan, don't get me started to preach. You know how magnificent preacher I can be.
I know.
God is saying to the children of Israel, I gave them the land of milk and honey. And what did they choose to do? They choose to start worshiping idols.
Yeah.
To Zambians, God is saying, I gave them the land full of milk and honey, full of copper. There are only 2 countries in Africa with copper. Only 2. He blessed them. What have we chosen to do as a people? We have chosen 24/7 politics, by elections. And he's going to say, I gave you copper. Nishi much na yo copper. Yo mkaitwarera ninga ma by elections. Only 2 countries. So what we are saying is copper is the new oil. We have talked about it on this show several times. It's the new oil. Elon Musk, the richest person in the world, is running on copper. How is it that Elon Musk is 90 billion worth if we can't raise that much money? We need 1 billion. So the story of global multi-purpose comes in. What can we do as a people? Forget the leaders, forget the everyone. What can we do? So this is the story we have come to share today. This is the story we have come to share today. There is something we can do. If a small group of us have raised about $250,000, a small group of about 100, what about 1,000 of us? What about 10,000 of us? What can we do? Thank you.
That's right. That's right. Before I bring in Mrs. Mwanza, you're talking about it's emotional, it's painful, it's spiritual. Somebody will say, "What's so spiritual about or what you're talking about? Isn't this supposed to be a business thing?" Why is it emotional? Why is it painful?
It is spiritual in the sense of what I just told you, where only few countries have copper.
Yes.
Copper is riches. Like he said to the children of Israel, I have given you a land full of milk and honey. To Zambia, God is saying, I've given you a land full of copper. That's my spiritual part.
Okay, I get it. I'm sure the people need to understand it. Mrs. Mwanza, welcome to the show. When was the cooperative launched? And I want you also to address the objectives of why this whole thing was started.
Okay, thank you. The idea actually was born in September when a few of us with the same mind reflection thought of working together, getting together, and how could we, benefit our beloved country by working together? Because like what the chair has said, it was an emotional thing. We needed to see ourselves at a better place, even the legacy that we leave behind, because this is mostly to benefit our children and our children's children. So it was launched in March 2022, and we registered the cooperative with the Registrar of Societies in May of 2022.
That's in Zambia?
Yes, in Zambia. Yeah.
Okay.
In March, at the launch, we were privileged to have been graced by our Bank of Zambia Governor, Dr. Kalyalia Denny, who encouraged us actually by saying, even if it's a handful of you, because we're very few who got together, even if it's a handful of you, just get the ball rolling, just get off the ground. As long as you believe in the vision, and more people will come join you. So that is where we are now, raising that $250,000 with about 100 people who have invested. Yes. And then the objective of the cooperative is mainly to pool our resources together from Zambians in diaspora and those back at home. We need to get together and, make something big out of it. So it's to invest in income generating projects for the members and job creation for the communities, because like the video clip that was shared, there's a lot of poverty, but we're sitting on a lot of wealth. So if we can just get together, we can make something big out of it. We have been remitting funds individually to families to help, cushion the poverty, levels and all. And some have used it in productive ventures, but it's very few that you can actually point at to say this one has done something magnificent out of the money that is being sent from diaspora. So looking at the amount of the remittances,
yes,
it's in 2017 alone, Zambians in diaspora remitted about $93.5 million US. And this amount has been going up. And as of 2021, in September, it was $241 million US. And it has been recognized that the remittances are now an important contributor to the country's growth and development. So it's not a small thing. It's part of our growth industry in Zambia. And mainly, like I said, most people have just used it for consumption and rental. So when the vision is actually to change that, to try and see we poor resources while still continuing to support a few family members. And actually, we need to teach family members to fish, not to give them just a fish all the time, because they need to be independent to sustain themselves. So we need to change the way we think. And according to the migration data portal, which I got online, there are about 250,000 Zambians in diaspora. And that, sorry, if you could give me a second, I apologize.
Roger, we a lot of times we have okay, she's back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
You're fine.
So,
you're fine.
there are about 250, like what I said, there are about 250,000 Zambians living in diaspora. And
Wow.
if we can bring these people on board, like we said, the magic number, which we'll talk to later, is the number of people that we want to pull to the table. But if we can go beyond that and tap in the resource that we have, then it will be magnificent. And like I said, we actually targeting the young adults and our children. We need to teach our children the financial discipline. I will tell you, Vanathan, at university, I had one of the courses, investment management, and the lecturer actually encouraged us to start investing whilst we're young, but we put a deaf ear to that because we didn't believe in it and it didn't make a lot of sense. Later on in life, we realized, oh my goodness, had I started at that time looking at what we've been able to achieve in just 3 months, we would have been at a different level. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Roger, one of the things that people ask is, you know, people who are in finance and, you know, like she says, she did investment and economics and all these things. They would like to hear from you the business model of the cooperative. What is the business model of this cooperative?
Okay, so Mrs. Mwanza talked about number one, the 1,000. That is our business model. I'll share a slide here. At Globo, in phase 1, 1 to 2 years, we are looking for 1,000 Zambians who can step up with us.
Yes.
If each Zambian can bring 20,000 kwacha to the table, that is 20 million. We can raise 20 million in 1 year, probably even in 6 months, if we are going to encourage a lot of people today, even in 6 months. At the time we were doing our math, that translated to 1 million, but now the kwacha has gone up. But for the purpose of our discussion, we are looking for 1,000 Zambians Zambians and friends of Zambia, by the way, who can bring 20,000 to the table in 1 year. We are investing that money in low-risk ventures like GRZ bonds. One of the questions I think Mrs. Mwanza is going to answer, why bonds? It is the nature of the bonds. Our history is not very good when it comes to communities bringing money together. Then other history of, I've lost the money. So we chose in the first 1 to 2 years, we are going to go in the bonds. Why? Number one, the bonds have a high return. The bonds are safe. So this will give the leadership some confidence to say we can manage a fund of this magnitude. The members themselves, as we grow together, I think the confidence will grow. Our model says in the 3 to 5 years, then we are going to begin to diversify. We want to invest, whether it's going to be in agriculture, is it in real estate, is it in the mining we are talking about? We don't know at this stage, but we want to use the power, Nathan, of leverage. We are going to use the power of leverage, which I think we are going to talk about as we go. So this is our model, Nathan. Number one, we are looking for 1,000 Zambians, those who can step up with 20,000 in the next 12 months. You pay your 20,000, together we can raise 1 million. So we'll keep talking as we go.
So when you say 20,000, are you talking dollars or kwacha?
That is kwacha. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, I'm seeing it. I just want to make it clear. 20,000.
Okay. Yeah, 20,000 kwacha, which at a time of doing the math, it was $1,000. But now things have gone. So we don't want the complications. We just want to keep it in the kwacha because everyone understands the kwacha. Let's keep it simple.
Okay, we keep it simple. Okay, that is very. Let's talk about the. I want us to break these things in the simplest terms that we can, Mrs. Mwanza. When we say low risk ventures, what are you trying to say there? And what makes the GRZ bonds safer than anything else? When you say low risk ventures, what are you talking about?
Right. Sorry. Yeah. Government bonds are the safest investment anyone can ever think of. And you cannot compare it to any other. It's zero. Whether the government goes under, still that commitment has to be met. So the members will not lose anything by investing in the bonds. It's the safest, and it has been proven to be. Based on the statistics, actually, I should have shared some information from the 90s to date as to how the bonds have been performing. And why bonds? The bonds are actually a holding fund rather than us keeping money in the commercial bank, because remember our target, we said, is to reach $1 million. And as we build our capital base, we thought, how can we benefit from having this amount of money that will be flowing in? So the best initiative was to, a project, as in it's an individual project, to invest in the bonds. So we are just tucking the money there, building on the capital base. And they are the safest investments, as I said. So since July, after we had launched in March, we, doing all the logistics and all, we finally invested in July. And I'll tell you one thing, there was that excitement from the launch, because when we tested the market to say, okay, we have so many people on Telegram, how much are you willing to put in if you want to buy into the vision that we have? A lot of people came on board, and we're going to raise that $250,000 maybe within that one first call. But it took a little while for us to get together. But we are happy to be where we are right now. And we successfully put the bid in July at 16%. And then there was a consecutive one in August at 17% for 2 years, and then in October. So we agreed that we'll be doing it because some people chose not to pay the money upfront, though we all know the value as to how much you put in upfront determines your earnings later on. So
okay. Whilst we're on the same point, so how do the investors make their money?
The investors make their money from the Bank of Zambia pays an interest rate every 6 months. And then because we buy the bonds at a discounted value, like for instance, roughly it was about 86 kwacha to 100 kwacha. So that difference is at about 12 kwacha or so. You get it at the end. So it's a profit that you make at the end, though the cooperative will only charge a 2% out of it. So the rest of it goes to the members. So it's interest earnings every 6 months until the end of 2 years, when you get the total amount back plus the difference that was discounted.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we are saying
you want to add on, Roger?
Yes, what we are saying, the value of your money, number one, it is the interest Mrs. Mwanza has talked about. That is the number one. But number two, it is the leverage I just touched on. Those of us who are here in diaspora, we know you can go and get your house. You only give them 3%, 4%. They give you a house $500,000 worth. That is leverage. You just have a small portion they give you. It is a tool we have only used a bit to get to our homes, but it is a tool businesses use all the time. Elon Musk was buying Twitter, 40 million. He didn't have 40 million cash in the bank.
No.
He went to the banks. I'm capable of giving you to paying 40 billion over time. Can you find me this money? They found him. If Nathan, everyone here does the math, the $250,000 we have today, if it is a 20% of paying to the house, Globo is talking about having access to $1 million today. Not what today. The quarter of a million can give us access to $1 million according to the rules of leverage.
Okay.
So Globo can say, oh, man, let's buy McDonald's. Let's have McDonald's somewhere in Texas. We can go to any bank and they can be looking at 1 million leverage, which we have. That is where most of our money is. Forget the interest, yes, it will come. But if we put our money together, we put our money together, that is the money we are missing. The leverage is the real money we are missing. And we want to emphasize this morning, if you are listening to us, Mrs. Maza is going to tell you, run to the bank right now. Robo is going to give you all the information. Run to the bank. We are missing out, man. We are missing out.
And Vanathan, the aim is actually, like I said, because we're just holding this money in the bonds. But we, as we reflected later, as during this period, over the 4 or 5 months period, we thought, okay, yes, our initial goal was to just, pack this money in the bonds. And then once we have this 1 million, then we can implement other major projects, for instance, processing plants, etc. Because we have an eye on the mines as well, like Chair has talked about earlier. So we thought, rather than wait for later as you try to go towards that goal of 1 million, there could be members in the group that would like to diversify now. So an opportunity would be provided to the members once we go to the drawing board and check what is out there and compare proposals, and then share it with the members to see whether they would want to get in, which would actually require additional different money other than what has been put in the bonds, because what is it in the bonds, is packed for 2 years.
Excellent. All right, everybody who's watching, you can see the what you call it, the to the Global Corp scrolling at the bottom. I've put it in caps so that you are able to read. Those of you who've got problems with eyes like me who can't see properly, there it is. Just go there and look at some things. If you're following us, you'd like to ask a question, please put it in the chat room and I shall read it to the chairperson and to the finance member of the finance team here, Mrs. Mwanza and Roger, and they will tell us. Let's take a break here as we continue our discussion.
Global Co-op Zambia was solely created for investing the funds received from Zambians in the diaspora and at home in projects that are income generating for the members and job creation for our communities. The investment will be in products described below and in either of the two ways. As a direct investor in a project, for example, constructions of housing units. Or as an umbrella fund, investing in companies with viable projects. Investment prospects. Initial market research shows that GCZ will be able to offer value and a great social impact in the following types of investment projects. Mining value chain. Agribusiness. Energy. Real estate development. Financial services. Other viable ventures. These projects have been selected due to their projected high social impact in job creation, value earned, income generation, and more importantly, to provide the indigenous Zambian the capacity to compete effectively. GCZ intends to provide financing and technology for the projects that they are participating in. Global Co-op Zambia, with a heart to develop Zambia.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Our guest this morning, the Global Cooperative, Multi-Purpose Cooperative Society, the chairperson, Roger, who is not a stranger to all of you, and Mrs. Victoria Mwanza, joining us from the finance team. The website is scrolling at the bottom. If you want to look at some of the details and you have any questions, you can post them in the chat room as we continue our discussion here. Roger, how does the cooperative intend to achieve these goals?
One of the goals is to bring 1,000 people and we are going to go on media like yours, speak to a lot of audiences. Those of you who are listening, you are chair people of a group in Texas, you are a chair in California, in Washington, D.C. Invite us. We are ready to speak to you. A quick story, Nathan. When we started, Mrs. Mwanza will tell you our goal in the first month was to invest $10,000, and then one member said, I think we can raise 20,000 to invest. So, no, that's too much money. That is too much money. The first month we raised about, in dollar terms, $110,000. It was talking. This one is talking to this one. This one is inviting the other person, friends and family. So help us. This cannot be done. Probably this is why we call it global cooperative. It cannot be done by a few individuals. The few investments we have made so far, I think, is a testament of what we can do. So by word of mouth, we are going to go on social media. We'll go anywhere it goes. That is going to be our aim. This year especially, we want to visit a lot of places. So if we are invited to come to Dallas today, tomorrow I'll be in the plane. I don't know how true that is. Maybe, I don't know. I'll come and speak to the people in Dallas. But we need to convince
it's good to know that, so that our leaders, our community leaders who are listening, also know members of the global team can come into a community and speak. And you see, this is what went through my mind, Mrs. Mwanza. I'm saying to myself, okay, for a start, it's good to give out flyers. You know what I'm saying? At the big independence event we had. But I think you should have had like 2 or 3 minutes to say something. You should have had 2 or 3 minutes to say something.
We were fighting for that. We were not successful. I think your event was fully packed. Mrs. Mwanza was in Maryland. She had the opportunity to speak. We had some people in the UK. They had an opportunity to speak. But as the years go by, I think we will be fighting for those slots. That's 2 or 3 minutes.
That's good. Now we know. That's the purpose of us doing this. Anything else on how you intend to, mobilization? What else, Mrs. Mwanza, you want to add on?
On the mobilization?
Yes.
Exactly what the chair said. We need a lot more outreach. We have tried our best actually to get to where we are. And we actually need to convince those people who are sitting on the fence right now, because we have 10 on Telegram, and only about 100 have invested, though many more, I think about 200, 220 have paid up the minimum fees required for one to invest. So we need to target all those people. We have started off with the flyers, yes, and a 2-minute, 3-minute presentation. We have to do much more, and we need to go vigorous, targeting every Zambian. Every Zambian needs to be passionate about this, because like the chair presented, it has to be an emotional thing. As we felt it, we felt the pain. We cannot be where we are now. What do we need to do about it? Let's be part of it. That's the message to everyone around listening. I hope they will take that step to just join us and we do this thing. And it's doable. We've proven that we can pull more than $250,000 US in just these 3 bond auctions.
Wow, that's amazing. If I bring in Kasul over here, the rain, I thought these things of when it rains and things get interrupted in Zambia, we've gone over that, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Remember when some of us were growing up, when you're on the phone and those phones, Mrs. Mwanza, shh, okay.
Just like the TV.
Yeah, just like a TV. Here's my other question. We have 500 people on a Telegram platform, and about 100 or so to 200 plus have invested. You see, this is the way my mind works. Things sound straightforward, and yet they are not as straightforward as they sound. So when you say only 100 have invested, what have those 100 done? When you say 100 have invested, what does that mean?
Yes, we have two types of shares in the cooperative.
Yes.
One is the membership shares, and which is ordinary shares, and the other one is investment shares. And the investment shareholder is the one who gets to invest in these profit making opportunities, like what we've started with on the bonds. So that's why we're saying about 100 have invested. That is those who have put money in the bonds. But we have people who have paid for the membership, because there are two categories, and they've got different purposes. Those who have paid which is 2,000 kwacha to become a full member. The benefits are that you become a member owner of the cooperative, and you've got a right to vote, and you can run on the board. But when you pay for the investment shares, then you can participate in the projects, and currently, which is what we're doing in the bonds, and some more later come.
Okay. Roger, keep that there for a while. Global Corp fees and shares. This is very important. I want people to understand this. Okay. So if I need to get involved in this, I'm looking at this amount, description, purpose, distribution. You can tell that this thing was put up by very smart, and like my grandmother would say, "Abantu abasambirira." So Roger, like she has explained, there are two categories here. Okay, so I pay 500 kwacha. That's a membership fee.
So that is the annual, as you can see, 100. Let's begin with 100. It's mandated by the government of Zambia. 100. That is the application fee. This covers the cost of membership assessment. As we grow as a cooperative, there's going to be an office in Lusaka. Mrs. Mwanza will tell you, Nathan, just dealing with 100 number. Sometimes she spends nights and nights just sorting out those. We will not continue even for 500, later on 1,000. So we have young people employed in the cooperative to sort out this. So that application fee will go towards helping out the people helping in the office. Then we have 500.
Why Lusaka, when this is saving majority diaspora people?
The diaspora is very expensive, as you know. We can't pay someone 100. Then they'll be mad. They'll be mad with it. Anyway, 500 is the annual membership. Is the annual membership fee. This is the money which we have used to be where we are today. We have a very robust system for accounting. You open your account, you can check your balance, like you are logging into a bank. We have a young man from Asia who is doing this. We use this 500 to pay those people. We have a lawyer in Zambia. We are holding people's money. We need an investment advisor. We have an investment advisor in Zambia. We pay them monthly. So this 500 annual membership fee, that is where it goes. Mrs. Mwanza has talked about two classes of shares. We have membership shares, as you can see, and investment shares. The membership fee, the membership shares, this is the cooperative money for us to do the other projects we are going to do. Mrs. Mwanza is going to add to this. 20,000 investment shares. This is your money. This is not the cooperative money. This is your money, which we currently are putting in bonds. So as we go, this money will go with you wherever the investment takes us. This money will go with you. The core of the cooperative, however, the cooperative has to run. So we charge 2,000 members 10 shares. Everyone has 10 shares. are fixed.
Okay.
Investment shares otherwise is not fixed. You can have even more, but membership it is fixed. Together, Nathana, before your next question, together the 2,000, the 500, and the 1,000 together, that is 2,600. That is about $150, which someone can go, should log in today, become a member. Don't worry for today for membership paying the 20,000. Don't worry about that. Go to our website, at least pay the membership. Come in, come and see the exciting stuff we are doing. Yeah.
Okay. So
Maybe
the idea is go to the website, do the membership for $150, and you'll be privy to all the information there, right?
Correct.
All right. So everybody, the website is scrolling at the bottom there. Go to the website and log in so that you see what this is very important. This is very, very important. I wanted us to put this there so that people can see how to do this. We shall get back to that before we close. Mr. K, you want to come in with a question?
Not really a question, Uncle Nathan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. I think the two points I wanted to touch on have already been mentioned by Uncle Roger. I wanted to talk about how are you looking at the mobilization and how you're going to invest this money. How are you going about some of these things? And I like how you mentioned to say you have an investment advisor, and also since it's a pool of personal money, you know, we people tend to be skeptical when I say, no, I'm putting in my money and things like that. So it just adds credibility when you mention to say, no, there are lawyers involved here and there. Those are the areas I wanted to tackle, which I think you've already mentioned.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Excellent. All right. It's very important. All right. We are grateful for those that are following. Rebecca, thank you. This is a milestone. Congratulations, Global Corp. And everybody, we want to reach 1,000. Can you imagine what we can do with 1,000? Auntie Joyce, the dream is real and vision is good. Let's go diaspora globally. I believe this is George. It's almost midnight where George is, Victoria.
George, what are you doing this time?
Yeah, I mean, George, you need to mobilize people in Australia and New Zealand to do this. That's where George is. Thanks, George. Faithful follower of the talk show past 14 years. Thanks, Hips, for this show, Roger, Nathan, and all the guests that we are going to hear from. It's important. And then good morning, Banja and Ruth there and Priska. It's really amazing. Very good initiative. That's the whole purpose of this thing is like George and everybody, Ruth, Priska, Auntie Joyce. The whole purpose of this is this. That's why we played this. What do you call it? A Pilato song. You know, our wealth is just on paper. And you. And Victoria, you have no idea how much I hate that phrase. Africa has got the richest natural resources. So what? If you're not tapping into it, so what? Like Pilato says, you know, so what if the wealth is not translating into anything? It doesn't mean anything. If it is just on paper, it doesn't mean anything. You know, like remember, Roger, how a lot of people got upset when I said that dual citizenship doesn't mean anything if it's on paper, it doesn't mean anything. Hear me. I'm not just trying to be controversial or whatever. If it is on paper, it doesn't mean anything. Mrs. Wanza, what will 1,000 membership mean to Global Cooperative?
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. You know, with 1,000 membership, we can actually achieve a lot, and the sky is the limit. If we can tap on those 250,000 Zambians in diaspora, only 1,000. And our mantra has always been, is power in the numbers. And indeed, we have proven also, it's not just on paper, it's an actual, it translated into real money. We have money taxed at Bank of Zambia. So we can go bigger, right? We are thinking big right now. And some ideas that have come from influential people like Dr. Kalialia, he says you can actually even open a credit union bank, which is what we are targeting as well. We see.
I thought about that actually.
Yes, at the end of the horizon that we can do big things once we have this money. And the chair spoke about leverage, right? The union bank, a credit union bank, we can open up a processing plant. We are lacking a lot of, in the industry. And there are other opportunities in the mine, like the value chain and or tourism and energy, as depicted in the clip for Global Corp. So under leverage, if I could emphasize, we can actually access to 5 to 6 times more funding based on the amount that we have.
Wow.
So yes, that has really opened up what we can achieve. And we're thinking, really, we can do this. Let's fight to get this 1,000 people, to get to where we want to be in a short space of time. And the magic number of 1,000 people, it was like pulling a cat from the hat. We looked at what is meaningful, $1 million, but what is an amount that the most people in diaspora and a lot of other Zambians who are at home can afford, and giving them a space of 1 year, which to us was actually ending June 30, but it's always a moving target, right, from the time it joins. So $1,250 every month, for the investment part, which is what we are trying to target to that $1 million. 20,000 at that time was the equivalent with a little change over. So multiply by that, multiply by that 1,000 people gives us that $1 million that we're aiming for. So the 1,000 members and more, we can begin to provide the market for Zambia products here, even in diaspora. It's a 2023 watch. You watch us, watch this space. You will see on the market 10 kg Globo millimil, a millimil bag in your kitchen. And that is our aim. We want to get somewhere, and we have to change the narrative of Zambia. And this is historic, right? That we've been able to achieve this. It's something that we could not imagine before. But once that idea came on and these few people came together, look, we have another.
Amazing. I want to put this there. Go.
Very quickly, Nathan, to add on that, Mrs. Mwanza will agree with me. Last week, we as a cooperative, our members participated. We bought 7 cows. Last week, we bought 7 cows. We gave the meat to our family members. It was beautiful to see the pictures, people receiving the meat. It was beautiful, Nathan, to see young men delivering, working under Globo. We had given some youth something to do. Now imagine only 100 people, 7 or 8 ng'ombe. Some farmer somewhere is very, very happy with what Globo has done. Now imagine if that was 1,000 people. How many cows or how many goats, how many chickens, how many people can we put into employment? Many people.
To your point, Roger, before I bring Ruth's point she's making here, Kasuluba, you are the accountant here. Globo reaches a $250,000 milestone with 100 people. Let that sink in. Kasuluba, you are the math person here. What would 1,000 people do? 100 people have done $250,000. What would 1,000 people do? Just little through mathematics. Me, I'm a theologian. Don't ask me about the mathematics.
Yeah. But Nathan, that's the 1,250,000.
Mamona. Here is okay. Here is let me start with this. Numbers do not lie. Well done, Globo. Let us forge ahead. Zambians working together. Progressive. That is very important. Okay, numbers don't lie. It's very true. Here's what Ruth is saying. We can do it if every member in Global Corp is an active marketing manager. Isn't that what HH calls himself? Chief investment or chief marketing, whatever.
Yes.
Not panga fya trips abroad. So if each person can bring in 5 people, it can be done. It can be 1,000 members.
Uncle Nathan.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, 1,000 people can actually give 12,500,000. Is it?
Hello.
Oh, 1 million at 20,000 kwacha each.
Kwacha. 20,000 kwacha.
No, I think what he has done is he has done the math. If 100 can produce a quarter of a million.
A quarter million.
1,000.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Therefore,
Okay.
produce 12 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
12 million, Kasuluba?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
12 million. You can buy half of.
Now 12 million with leverage, you are almost talking about 100 million on the table. Meaning, instead of, sorry to say, our friends from China making a smelter to smelt copper, Globo will be smelting our own copper and will be making decision. Finally, let's make a decision on the God-given wealth. Let's start to make it. That's what those numbers are telling us.
That's very true. I don't know whether this is what Joe is asking. Is it possible to see a demo of the platform? I don't know what that means.
The platform, I think she's asking for, I don't know if it is our accounting platform. Joe, please, we'll share a link for you to join the platform. I don't know whether I should say, unfortunately, it is only member access. So you can only see what is happening if you are a member. It is a wonderful platform, by the way. We've been very, very, very cautious. One of the things we have done is we live here in diaspora. If I do investments, I see my investments every day. I can log in. Not that you give people money. The last time you heard about your money, it is the day you gave them. No, we want people to log in there. They can see what is happening in their account.
Since Joe is asking about seeing a platform, what do I need to do to join the Global Cooperative?
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. You need to become a member, right? Like our chair said, to see that platform. So what you need to do is there are some forms that you fill in. Once that is done, we load up the details in the system, the same accounting platform. The table that was shown there depicting the amounts that you need to pay, which is 100 administrative, which is on the screen right now. The 100 kwacha that you pay, the 500. So you run to the bank to deposit this money. You can deposit the 2,600 earlier than the 20,000. So you need to become a member to participate in the investment opportunities that we have. So we share the bank details. We have an account at Stanbic where you can deposit. Those in diaspora are remitting the funds as it has been done when you're remitting to family members, right? So there are platforms like Western Union, MoneyGram, all those. And those on the ground can go to any branch of Stanbic, because there have been questions before, like because we have our account at Mulungushi, is that Rotsbach? And members thought they had to go to that specific branch. No, you can go to any branch in the country. You can go to Mongu, Livingston, Copperbelt, wherever they Stanbic, and deposit. It will still reflect in our account as long as you give them the right account details, which we are sharing with members on the prospective members on the Telegram as well, which we keep repeating. Yeah.
Important point, Mrs. Mwanza Roger.
Sorry, how do you become a member? Stop procrastinating.
Yes. That is the number one thing.
That is
correct.
Our number one thing. Because again, like we have said to you, Nathan, we have 500 there seated in the Telegram. But it's like they can't make a decision. Stop procrastinating, Vane. Our minerals, our minerals are going. As you are saying, Mairo. our minerals are going. Go ahead.
And on that point, Roger, that reminds me of Dr. Kalyalia when somebody asked about the risk in investing in the government bonds. And he said, whilst us Zambians are asking about the risk, who do you think is buying the bonds? It's in foreign hands. What do they see? How come they don't see that risk that you're seeing? There's no risk at all. So, like the chair is saying, let's get off the bench and take action, because you need to move. You need to go to the bank. You need to get on the app to send the money. Let's do this together. Let's do it. And you can't say you want to wait to hit the jackpot to start investing. No, it's small monies. We have diligent investors currently who are running to the bank. Each time they make a small amount, they deposit, trying to work towards getting to that minimum of 20,000 kwacha. So it doesn't need, you don't need to make $1 million for you to start investing. It's the small pocket change that builds up something big. So if every one of us, even 500, 1,000, we accept that money, we add it, we collect all that money and, add it to the fund that is going for the bond. So you've got a little percentage in there and you just work towards that. So you have to just be diligent. Let's do this together and we can do it. We can achieve it. Thank you.
The account is in, I want us to hit this home. The account is in Zambia. So those in the diaspora have to use platforms over the way we send money to Zambia. Who do they send it to?
Mm-hmm. The money, if they can send the money,
a member, who do I send the money to?
If you can deposit directly into the account, bank to bank, you have that option. But it's mostly expensive to do that. Some members have sent to family members who they trust, because there's an element of trust here. And you want to attain some confidentiality, but you can do that. You can send to other family members. And if you have, it's best to have a bank account in Zambia as well, so that you can be remitting from your own personal account to Stanbic. And we have actually arranged with Zanaco, because they recently opened this diaspora account and it's on offer. So we are sharing with our members to say, if you are able to open an account at Zanaco, there are benefits that can come from there. Then you can remit your money, the Zanaco account locally, or Stanbic. Some people have a Stanbic account, which makes it easy, because we have our account with Stanbic currently.
Okay. So the purpose of our discussion today was awareness, information, and bringing this to the attention of the people. Everybody watching, listening, those of you going to watch this recorded show, if you need detailed information about this, you need to become a member. The website is at the bottom, scrolling there. Go to the website, sign up, and become a member. Okay, I think we end up here for today. Final word, Mrs. Mwanza, and then Roger. What's the final word to our people watching?
Yes, thank you, Jonathan. Like we have said, we need to take the action. It is not difficult to do that. The problem is in the mind. We need to change the way we're thinking. Once we change and look into the horizon, we have that vision which needs to materialize. Once we open our eyes to that goal that we want to attain, we'll take the action. And it has to be the heart. It has to speak to the heart as well. What is it that you want to do? What is your legacy? Where do you want Zambia to be? What kind of a country do you want to live for the children, children's children, and so on? So you have to take that drastic step, which we did. And I'm glad and proud to say I'm part of the historic moment that we had to, to get to where we are. Thank you.
Excellent.
There is a power, Nathan, in numbers. Yesterday I was watching a video of wild dogs attacking a lion. And a lion was in trouble but the wild dogs are small animals.
Yes, they are
small animals. They attacked a lion of the king of the jungle. There is power in numbers.
Excellent. Everybody, that's our show for today. The website for Global Corp Zambia is scrolling at the bottom. Go there, sign up for membership. Kasuluva says 1,000 people can do 12 million. If we have 12 million, We can buy or do anything. Thank you, Roger. Victoria, don't be a stranger. If you need to say anything or disseminate information, just give me a call. This is your show.
Thank you.
All right, Mr.
Sure.
K, sorry about your Wi-Fi issues. Next week, oh, by the way, everybody,
Globo is coming. Globo is coming. Just give us 1 year.
Yeah, Globo is coming. It's already rolling. It's already on the move. Yeah. The World Cup begins next week, Sunday. So on Saturday, we'll be talking to some soccer analysts about how the FIFA World Cup thing looks like and all those things. You know, Zambians will love soccer and everybody. Soccer is the whatever game for the world. So next week, we'll be talking FIFA Soccer World Cup because it begins next week. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. We do hope that you go to the website and sign up. This is the thing. This is the thing. All right. Have a great weekend.
Global Co-op Zambia was solely created for investing the funds received from Zambians in the diaspora and at home in projects that are income generating for the members and job creation for our communities. The investment will be in products described below and in either of the two ways. As a direct investor in a project, for example, constructions of housing units. Or as an umbrella fund, investing in companies with viable projects. Investment prospects. Initial market research shows that GCZ will be able to offer value and a great social impact in the following types of investment projects. Mining value chain. Agribusiness. Energy. Real estate development. Financial services. Other viable ventures. These projects have been selected due to their projected high social impact in job creation, value earned, income generation, and more importantly, to provide the indigenous Zambian the capacity to compete effectively. GCZ intends to provide financing and technology for the projects that they are participating in. Global Co-op Zambia, with a heart to develop Zambia.
Do you want to promote your business on Zambia Broad Talk Radio? Yes, that's right. Live on Zambia Broad Talk Radio. To book your spot, just make a donation by picking from the following categories. To get started, just call or WhatsApp the number on the screen and you'll be good to go. Live on Zambia Broad Talk Radio every Saturday for 1 full month. And it will stay on the recorded shows.
Zambia Blog Talk Radio.